Hey, what's good, y'all? Before we get into this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Now listen, this right here is straight up evil. This man cannot keep getting away with this. How does 50 Cent have connections with everybody? The crazy part is, he doesn't even live in New York anymore, yet somehow he keeps pulling strings every single time. Now moving forward, this is where things get real interesting. Y'all remember a few days ago when 50 Cent called Jim Jones, MAINO, Fab, and Dave East squatters? He straight up called them bums and said they owed $250,000 in rent. That's a very specific number. Only somebody involved behind the scenes would know the exact amount owed. Then 50 Cent went even further. He said he was working on buying their podcast building and also buying 50% of their podcast business. That came out of nowhere. Now don't get it twisted. We all know 50 Cent has the money to do that. But the real question is, how does he even know who to contact to buy their podcast space? And how is he buying the building itself? That part didn't add up. Well, plot twist, turns out the landlord has been working with 50 Cent this entire time. And y'all are not gonna believe this. According to the landlord, not only does he own the podcast building, he also owns 50% of their podcast company. Now yesterday, 50 Cent posted a message saying, "Yo, Jim wired the $200,000. Then he followed it up with, "Okay, cool. He might actually turn out to be a good tenant after all." Then he mentioned a name, clearly hinting at Jim Jones's landlord. He said, "Samuel, if you ever need me to make them pay, just give me a call. I'm here." At first, people thought 50 Cent was bluffing. They thought he was trolling. But this morning, 50 Cent posted a voicemail from Samuel, Jim Jones's landlord, the same landlord that owns the building and owns 50% of their podcast business. And once you hear what he said, everything starts to make sense.
I want to rent it. And I said, okay, fine. Right? He's been saying this for since October. And so he keeps trying to build it, but he won't sign the lease. He's like, I don't like these terms. I want 6 months of build out. And ridiculous bullshit. We also have a partnership agreement where half of what he's building now, his media, belongs to us. But he won't tell us how much he's making and doing all these things. So half of the content he's creating, if you want to buy that too, I'll sell you half the company. He's not a business. He's insane. To me, it's worth very little to nothing. But if it works out for you, I just throw that in as a sweetener. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is he signed a lease with me. Right now he owes, I'm going to say it in a short way, at least $80,000, if not $180,000. The monthly rent on the old lease.
This whole situation is actually insane. You know how much your landlord has to dislike you for things to get to this point? To the point where he's talking to your opponent about selling your company and even the building where you record your podcast. That tells you right there that Jim Jones and his landlord haven't been on good terms for a long time. That's exactly why 50 Cent has been so confident talking about their business and even threatening to buy it. The landlord clearly doesn't want them in that building anymore. Now, I'm not even sure what kind of business deal makes sense where your landlord owns 50% of your company. If that's actually true, that sounds like bad business all around. At the same time, 50 Cent also sent a clear warning. He basically said, "I don't know why people keep starting with me. If I wasn't me, I would leave me alone. Get your business together." Now, as far as Jim Jones and his team go, they don't seem too concerned. They've been brushing it off, even laughing at the situation, downplaying the whole thing. They've said that if anyone wants to buy into the podcast, it would have to go through them directly. But here's where it gets interesting. They also admitted that the attention has boosted numbers, boosted engagement, and pushed the podcast forward. So while they're laughing publicly, behind the scenes, this situation is clearly creating pressure. Then things took another turn. They were seen joking about being called squatters, turning it into a joke instead of addressing the bigger issue. But let's be real. If you're the landlord in this situation, people are definitely looking at you sideways. It raises serious questions. Is it even legal for a landlord to disclose a tenant's financial situation to someone else? If you couldn't pay rent 1 month and your landlord started telling your enemies about it, that would cause real problems. So now the question becomes, what's the next move? They can't just pack up and leave. The studio is finally set up. Everything is just getting started. Does this turn into legal action? Does it create even more tension? Because one thing is clear, this situation isn't cooling down. If anything, it's adding fuel to an already tense situation.